Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, from wherever in the world you're joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Calvin Brooks, and today I'm here to help facilitate our session called Academic Life, Your Pathway to Success. And in a normal year, myself and my colleagues would be traveling around the world meeting with you in person, but unfortunately this year with COVID-19, we are meeting with you virtually. And I'm so excited today to be able to host this event with a couple of my colleagues to discuss some different ways and resources you have access to as a Carleton student, especially as an international student, and how they can better assist you. And before I dive into the specifics, I just want to give a brief introduction of myself. My name is Calvin Brooks. I'm a former Carleton student, graduated in 2017. During my time as a student, I was super involved in all sorts of extracurricular activities, taking advantage of a lot of the resources you're going to hear about today. But unfortunately, I haven't been a student for some years now, more years than I think I'd like to admit at this point. So today, joining me to talk a little bit more about her experience is Taddy. And a lot of you might have met Taddy if you were in our previous session. But Taddy, if you just want to jump in and give a brief introduction of yourself, that would be great.
That's great. Hi, everyone. I'm Taddy. I'm a third-year health sciences student with a Bachelor of Health Sciences. I'm currently a global peer advisor and a PASS facilitator, so I'll be talking more about that later, and just giving advice to international students and how to get involved.
Perfect. Okay. And Taddy, thank you again so much for joining the last session and this session. Of course, you're an all-star, and that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to talk with you today. And you said Bachelor of Health Science. That is quite the program. I'm wondering if you can just kind of tell our incoming students or potential incoming students a little bit more about what your schedule looks like and maybe what your class structure is like as well.
Yeah, for sure. So in my first year, my schedule was very structured, but I find as I've gone in the upper years, I have a lot more flexibility. And with class being online, I have even more flexibility. But in my first year, I had 8:30s on most days. And it's really rare to have a day off as a science student because most classes have labs and tutorials. So that just really takes up a lot of time. So yeah, lectures, professors, and when classes on campus, we had about 100 to 300 students because a lot of science students take the same introductory courses. So they're pretty big classes, but the higher up you go, the smaller the classes get. And then again, some classes have labs and tutorials, which make up like 30 to 40% of your grade. And those are run by the TA.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for sharing. And you say TA. I'm wondering if you can maybe elaborate a little bit more on what a TA is and maybe what the differences are between a TA and a professor.
Yeah, so a TA is a teacher's assistant, and they help running labs and tutorials, and they can answer any questions related to the course. And then they also grade assignments, midterms, and labs. And then professors mostly lecture and grade your final exams. Both TAs and professors have office hours, and this is just a time where you can go and ask your questions and get to know them.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's important for every student to know is that the office hours are usually an open door policy. And usually it's so nice just to stop by and connect with professors because not a lot of students always know about that or take advantage of it. So it's always something that's really good to ensure you take advantage of during your time because it's really nice to connect with your professors. I'm sure you can agree. You're joining us today because you've been heavily involved throughout campus and throughout your academic career. I'm wondering if you can tell us a little bit more about what sort of academic resources you've utilized as a student and maybe which ones you're involved with and you've been involved with throughout your time at Carleton.
Yeah, so I would say the number one resource I've used is my professors. I think so many people don't go to their professors when they're such a great resource. It's really important to get to know them or just ask any questions that you have. I find there's such a steep learning curve from high school to first year university. Your professors want you to do well. They usually have so many tips on how to succeed in the course. So I really recommend going to office hours and hearing from them. Another resource I would say is my academic advisor. She's helped me so much, especially as a science student. There's so many prerequisite courses that you need to take at a specific time to move on to the next semester and the next year. So just having that in check and knowing I'm doing everything correctly. And then my last one I would say I really used was the SSSC, which is the Science Student Success Center. In my first year, I went to workshops on how to write your first lab report, because lab reports are different for chemistry, for biology, for physics. So just knowing what the difference is and just really making sure I set myself up for success. And then resources that I'm involved with now. I'm a past facilitator. So I basically help students learn course content in a more fun way, something that's different to lecture. So yeah, I really find that interesting and I love it.
Yeah, that's excellent. Thank you so much for sharing it. It's so great to hear just how involved you are and how you're really taking advantage of all the resources available to you. That's awesome. Now, this particular session is, of course, about academic life, and a lot of the questions have been focused on that. But I'm also wondering, too, what sort of non-academic areas are you involved in on campus? Are there any other activities you take part in?
Yeah, so last summer I actually became a global peer advisor for the ISSO, the International Student Services Office. And basically, I just mentor students, both undergraduate and graduate students. I answer any questions that they have on academic life, social life, and like the cultural atmosphere in Ottawa and Carleton. I just answer questions, connect them to the appropriate resource, and just support them, especially during this pandemic. Like it's been really hard for everyone, so just providing that extra support for students on residence and other international students that sign up for our program. So that's been really fun. As a fellow international student, I know what it's like to be in that position, and I know the people I had helping me. So I find no better way but like to help others as well. So yeah, and then my other one is Carleton Athletics. I loved going to the gym in my first and second year when it was open. I did intramurals as well, volleyball and salsa, so that was super fun.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so good to hear. And it's nice to hear that you had mentors ahead of you that kind of inspired you and now you're giving back. I think that's really good. And speaking of giving back, I'm wondering if you can maybe give some tips and tricks or maybe some advice to our incoming international students. Do you have any advice or tips you want to share?
Yeah, for sure. I have so many. I can't choose. But I would say to get involved and get involved as soon as possible. I find first year is the optimal time to get involved. Everyone is looking to make friends, everyone is looking to expand and try new things. So I would say join a club, a society, make friends in your program, do a sport, take initiative, especially as a science student. They always have all these societies and clubs, and they're looking for representatives. So I would say go for it. It looks great on your resume, and in the future, it just really opens up doors. You can expand your network. So just get connected. And then the other thing is just being patient with yourself as you navigate everything. As I mentioned before, it's high school and university are two different things. Some people find that transition easier than others. So just be patient with yourself. Take time to navigate what works for you, what doesn't work for you. It's okay to adjust and just see like what works best, I guess. So yeah, and just find a couple places where you like to study. For me, that was always downtown in a little cafe. So yeah, explore Ottawa and have fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. And I think your point of patience is so key. I remember
Mm,
for me as a student during the first week, I felt like I had to have it all figured out. And in reality, you don't. In the first day, the first week, even the first year, it's definitely a learning curve. So,
yeah.
so thank you so much for sharing that tip. I really appreciate that. And I know the incoming students will as well. So thank you so much for joining us again in your second session. You're an all-star this morning, and we really appreciate you joining us. And at this
Yeah.
time, I'd like to welcome my colleague Meg to the event. Meg is one of our employees over at the Center for Student Academic Support, and we're so lucky to be able to have her join us today. And Meg, I'm just wondering if you'd be able to give a brief introduction of yourself, both your history at Carleton and maybe what your current role is at the university.
Good morning. Sorry, I just lost you there for a second. I think I'm back. Um, sorry. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, first of all, for having us. My name is Meg, and I'm from the Center for Student Academic Support at Carleton, also known as CSAC. And currently, I'm the online resource development administrator. And so, essentially, what that means is I work one-on-one with students through different learning-related challenges. And I'm also really heavily involved with developing online resources and workshops and hosting webinars. So we have a lot going on at CSAS all the time.
Yeah, you are a busy person, that's for sure, and a proud Carleton alumni as well, correct?
Indeed, I graduated last year from my bachelor in social work.
Awesome, awesome. And I understand that you have a lot to tell us about today, so I'll just kind of jump right into things. I'm
Mhm.
just wondering, whether it's a student who's new to sort of academic writing or maybe a student whose first language isn't English, I'm just wondering what sort of resources you have available for students who are looking to adjust to writing in a university setting.
Absolutely. And that's such a great question because kind of no matter where you're at in the writing process, university transition can be difficult. You're experiencing new types of writing, new types of reading that you need to write based on. And so if you're feeling like maybe I'm not ready, maybe I'm not sure, just know that writing is a skill that can be developed over time. And that's why Writing Services is here to help you develop that skill and to really master, the writing style and type for your own discipline. So CSAS has a bunch of writing related services. The first is writing consultation sessions. So currently they're being held all virtually, and you can meet one-on-one with a writing consultant to work on any writing related challenges. So you can bring a paper, a draft that you're working on, and go through it with the writing consultant and really take a look at, where improvements can be made. And not only just on that paper itself, it's not necessarily proofreading your paper for you, but it's looking at different things throughout your paper and saying, okay, this is where we could develop a skill more. This is where we could, for next time. So you can meet with a writing consultant as many times as you want, once a day, throughout the semester. And often we have students come quite frequently throughout the semester to work on either the same paper or multiple papers. So writing consultation sessions are really, really helpful in that manner. We also have online workshops and as well as webinars. And so each of those online workshops and webinars focuses on different writing related topics. So anywhere from how to start your academic paper to strategies for proofreading and really the process of academic writing in general. And so if you're someone who is very familiar with academic writing or you've never done it before, these workshops are really helpful. And finally, for writing services, we have academic writing for English language learner sessions. So it's a pilot project that we actually started this year. My colleague runs it. And so how it worked this year is every Friday, we would have a 1 hour session. Students would sign up in advance. And we would really talk about different isolated topics within academic writing and English and grammar. So, for example, noun clauses was one that just happened just about a week ago. And so every week, students get the chance to attend a session, meet with peers, meet with one of my colleagues, and really isolate different grammar structures and really essentially like build your academic writing skills. Um, Really, for writing services, there's so many things to talk about, but really all of the information is also on our website, and it's a really good service.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember I had a professor share some advice with me saying that writing's like an instrument. Like if you don't practice it, or you need to practice it to get better at it. And that was something that really stuck with me. And I remember as an art student too, I was certainly doing a lot of practice. So that's great that these workshops exist. And, you know, in a normal year when I'm traveling and talking to students and engaging with them in person, I get so many questions about what sort of learning supports are available to them. And since you're an expert in this field, I'm just wondering if you can share with our students what sort of sessions or workshops does CSAS offer, and how can students take advantage of these?
Absolutely. So for learning support services, we offer actually 19 different online workshops, and so currently, and so we cover a really wide range of strategies based on studying smarter, on preparing for your tests and exams, managing procrastination, really from papers to motivation to seeking help if you're not really sure where to go in university. And so we have so many workshops that students can take advantage of, both asynchronously online, and we also offer those virtually right now as well. We also have learning support sessions. And so if you're looking for more of a one-on-one kind of format, we can meet with you virtually right now and go over learning related challenges that you're experiencing, whether that be, you know, it's coming to finals and you have a lot of things piling up and you're not really sure how you're going to get it all done. We can look at creating a schedule with you and talk about time management strategies. And so it's a really good way to not only connect with a peer, you meet with a peer learning assistant and hear kind of about, you know, you're not the only one struggling. They have their own academic struggles as well, but really get some foundational learning skills and strategies and kind of work through your different problems really from first year to fourth. With learning support, we also have certificates. So like I mentioned, we have online workshops, and those workshops actually coincide with different certificates that you can earn. We have 8 currently right now, and those can all be added to your co-curricular record, which is a really good way to kind of boost your CCR co-curricular record and build those academic learning skills at the same time.
Perfect. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. And Taddy, when I was speaking with her earlier, she mentioned that she was a PASS facilitator. I'm wondering if you can elaborate a little bit more on what exactly PASS is and how can it assist students?
Absolutely. So PASS, or Peer Assisted Study Sessions, is a really collaborative learning environment that students can attend. So certain courses are registered to be supported by PASS. And so essentially, if your course is PASS supported, you can attend workshops and office hours of a PASS facilitator, such as Toddy. And they also host different things such as mock finals. So essentially, you can attend the mock final take-up session, and it's a really good study opportunity for you to be able to prep for your tests or exams coming up. In addition, all of the peer PASS facilitators have received an A- or above in that course. And so there's someone who's really knowledgeable about the course content and who could really help guide you through, you know, both meeting different classmates. PASS is a great opportunity to be able to connect with peers, get other people's opinions and perspectives on the course content. But it also allows you to, you know, study in that group setting.
Perfect. Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Meg. I'm sorry, excuse me. Thank you so much, Meg, for joining us and for sharing all these great resources. And to everyone watching this webinar right now, CSAS has their website. They're on social media too. Definitely reach out, connect with them, take a picture of the screen. They're a great resource on campus and one that I strongly encourage students to get involved with. I remember during my first year, I didn't get as involved with these resources. And as a result, I had lower grades than I had anticipated. So into my second year, I really started to get involved with these resources and access them. And it's something that I strongly encourage students to do because it can really help increase your grades and just create a better overall experience throughout university. And again, I just want to thank Taddy and Meg for joining me today. We really appreciate your time. I know the incoming students appreciate it as well. And just so all of our viewers are aware, this just scratches the surface in terms of the number of resources available to students. There's so much more that's available to you, especially for my students interested in engineering. I strongly recommend you all go and check out the content tab on this booth, as it contains a lot of important resources, including more information on our Engineering Academic Support Office. This office is open to students within the Bachelor of Engineering who want specific help within their engineering courses, course structure, academic advising. Unfortunately, they weren't able to join us today, but all of their resources can be found in the content section of this booth. So check it out. That wraps up our time here today. A huge thank you again to Meg and Taddy for joining us. Thank you to Sarah for answering all the questions in the discussion tab in the background. And thank you to our viewers for joining us today. We have a brief break, and then one of my colleagues will be picking up the next session in about 5 minutes on employability, and you'll be able to connect with us in the chats as well. So thank you so much for joining, everybody, and we hope to talk to you soon.